Chosen one, before you speak a single word, before your presence is officially acknowledged in the room, there is already something working in your favor. Your energy. It announces you. It precedes you like a silent herald, moving through the air and brushing across the senses of those who are near. And when it comes to women, feminine women attuned to the invisible rhythms of truth, your energy does not sneak or crash in. It enters gently, confidently, fully. Without asking for attention, it receives attention. Without forcing respect, it commands it. There is something so deeply aligned about your essence that when you walk in, tension eases without explanation. She might not even know why she feels her breath slow around you. She might not understand how her guarded nervous system suddenly feels safer, less on edge, less alert. But it's you, chosen one. It's the sacred coherence of your being. Your sexual energy is not scattered. It's not leaking into fantasy or craving validation. It's whole, seated in the body, strong in the spine, and present behind your eyes. You are not a performer trying to charm. You are not a predator trying to impress. You are simply there, in your full masculine presence, deeply relaxed and fully self-contained. And because you are not trying to win her, she begins to trust you in ways she cannot yet explain. This trust is not logical. It is biological, spiritual, ancestral. Her feminine soul knows that around you she is not being hunted, she is being seen. And this, chosen one, is the beginning of the quiet miracle. The feminine does not open to force, it opens to integrity. It blooms in the presence of safety, and your sexual energy, raw yet regulated, powerful yet grounded, sends one clear message through every pore of your being. There is no threat here. You have no hidden agenda. You are not offering attention to buy affection. You are not dancing to earn intimacy. You are offering your presence like a calm ocean offers its depths. Women feel it, even when they cannot name it, even when they try to resist it, even when they pretend not to notice. Your energy does not shout, it speaks in a silent language of truth. And once she feels it, truly feels it, she cannot unfeel it. It lingers, it echoes. It makes her question every moment she spent with those who came before you, those who were loud in voice but hollow in being. You make her understand that real safety doesn't come from promises. It comes from presence. So understand, chosen one, when her eyes linger longer than she intended, when her words grow slower around you, when her laughter deepens or her breath becomes lighter, it is not because you've said something clever. It is because she feels something ancient and undeniable around you. She feels the trust that rises before words. She senses a man who is not here to convince her of his worth, but to reveal his truth by simply existing in it. And that, chosen one, is power. Chosen one, there are men who listen and there are men who contain you without needing to prove anything, or the latter. When the feminine is in her storm, emotional, fiery, uncertain, fierce, it is not your job to control her or fix her. It is your stillness that holds her. And this stillness, chosen one, is not passive. It is not the quiet of avoidance. It is the fierce, grounded silence of a man who does not flinch in the face of fire. She may come to you raw, wounded, confused by her own emotions. She may test the limits of your composure, scream into the air just to see if you'll break. And most men do. Most men react, shrink, explode, deflect, or try to pacify. But you remain still, not frozen, not distant, but anchored. You stay with her in the chaos without becoming it. You meet her storm with breath, your voice lowering instead of rising, your gaze staying soft but steady. And in that moment, she realizes something profound. You are a harbor, not a hurricane. Her nervous system learns your rhythm. It begins to regulate around you. Where once she had to carry her own pain, her own guilt, her own waves of uncertainty, she now finds a man who doesn't ask her to be smaller, but invites her to be honest. You do not shame her fire, you honor it. And when she cries or trembles or confesses something she's never said out loud, she watches your reaction closely. She looks for disgust, fear, or arrogance. But she finds none. She finds you, unchanged, unwavering. That moment, chosen one, is the moment she begins to trust you with her soul. Not because you saved her, not because you solved her problem, but because you were simply with her. Fully. She realizes that your sexual energy is not just potent, it is wise. It does not seek to dominate her emotional body. It chooses to wrap itself around it like a powerful tree around wind. She can thrash, twist, scream, and you remain not in resistance, but in embrace. She never expected this. She never expected a man to be strong enough to stay without trying to silence her. She never expected your fire to harmonize with hers. And so her heart, once locked behind a fortress of past betrayals, begins to open, not to the idea of safety, but to the experience of it. She begins to want to tell you more. She begins to need your energy, not out of desperation, but because it becomes the one place in the world where she can just be. And in that stillness, chosen one, something ancient awakens in her. The desire to rest in the arms of a man who will not be shaken. The craving to be known without being fixed. The longing to be fierce without being punished. And the trust, it deepens, it roots. It becomes more than emotional, it becomes spiritual. Because you are no longer just a man, you have become a sanctuary. Chosen one, there are things a woman may never tell you with words, not because she doesn't want to, but because words are too small for the emotions you stir in her. Her body may remain still, her voice calm, her smile composed, but her eyes are where the flood escapes. And you, chosen one, who are attuned to more than sound, who listen through presence rather than interrogation, you see it. You feel the warmth behind her glance, the unspoken comfort she finds in your nearness. You catch the flicker of awe that flashes across her face when you aren't even trying. That's how you know you're being trusted. That's how you know your presence is working deeper than the surface. The feminine often hides her longing behind politeness. But when she's around a man whose energy does not seek to control her or steal her shine, a man whose sexual energy is potent but not predatory, she softens. Slowly, unintentionally, inevitably, she leans in. Her voice gets gentler, even when the topic doesn't demand it. Her eyes linger just a moment too long. And it's not because you've followed a script or played a game. It's because your truth is louder than any pickup line. It's because your being makes her feel more beautiful just by existing in your field. You awaken something ancient inside her. The knowing that this man sees her and she doesn't have to fight for his attention. You, chosen one, are different. You are not shaken by her moods. You do not recoil when her depth comes to the surface. You don't panic when she expresses her uncertainty or frustration. You simply hold. You allow. You remain. And because of this, her eyes will begin to speak louder than her lips ever could. She may speak of other things, her work, her friends, her frustrations, but all the while her eyes are quietly saying, I feel safe with you. I feel intrigued by you. I want to stay. And this, chosen one, is the intimacy that precedes every real connection. This is the kind of gravity your sexual energy produces when it is aligned, dignified, and alive. Feminine women don't just notice this energy, they respond to it in ways they themselves don't always understand. They blush without knowing why. They fidget. They laugh more softly, or sometimes they fall entirely silent, stunned by the rare phenomenon of being in the presence of a man whose desire is clean. A man who can look at her with warmth, but without need. A man who sees through her beauty, but doesn't drown in it. This is how trust forms without ever needing to be requested. This is how a woman, in your presence, begins to disarm herself without fear. Not because she wants anything from you, but because you've become a quiet mirror in which she sees her deepest femininity reflected. You make her want to stand closer, to stay longer, to listen more deeply, not to what you say, but to what she feels when you're near. That feeling is rare, chosen one. That trust cannot be bought. And yet with you, it begins naturally. Her eyes betray her, but they do so joyfully, because in you she's found something she didn't know she was looking for. Peace in masculine form. Chosen one, there comes a moment between you and a feminine woman when she will open, not in body, not in flirtation, but in vulnerability. It may not come with a dramatic confession. It may not be wrapped in emotional grandeur. Sometimes, it comes in the form of a quiet pause, a trembling breath, or a story she's never shared before. And when it happens, you must understand, she is handing you a sacred key, not to her body, but to her soul. She is offering you her unguarded truth, not because she wants your pity, but because she trusts your strength. You are not like the others she's encountered. You do not rush to respond. You do not scramble to provide solutions. You listen, not as a task, but as a way of being. You are fully there, undistracted, deeply present. And in this, chosen one, you create something that is almost extinct in this world. masculine receptivity. You don't just hear her, you receive her. You allow her words to land without judgment. You allow her pauses to stretch without pressure. You allow her truth to tremble without shame. And in that space, something transformative happens. She softens more. She speaks deeper. She no longer guards her expressions. Her face becomes more open. Her emotions become more honest. And the entire room shifts into a sacred temple where you, just by your presence, have become the priest of her healing. You did not need incense. You did not need chants. You simply needed to be the man whose sexual energy is powerful enough to hold beauty, pain, chaos, and silence, all without flinching. Chosen one, many men crave the warmth of a woman's body, but few are brave enough to hold the heat of her soul. You are the exception. You are the anomaly. Your strength is not just physical, it is emotional. You are not addicted to control. You are addicted to truth. And when you sit with her in her rawness, without blinking, without running, she begins to believe something she once stopped believing. That there are men who are not afraid of the real her. That there are men who will not weaponize her softness. That there is you. And so the bond deepens, not with drama, not with declarations, but with sacred silence, with the way your hand stays open when she places her fear in it, with the way your eyes never leave hers when she speaks her shame, with the way your breath remains calm when her storm finally breaks. You are not shocked. You are not moved to fix. You are simply there, a mountain, a still lake, a home. She begins to fall in love not with what you offer, but with what you allow. And that, chosen one, is why your sexual energy is so magnetic. It is not a grasping fire. It is a warm sun. It doesn't chase. It shines. It doesn't demand. It invites. And in that invitation, the feminine finds something she forgot she needed. A man whose power is not in what he can take, but in what he can hold. Chosen one, there is a presence you carry that makes noise in the quietest rooms, and yet it is not boastful. It does not demand attention like the rest of the world. It does not perform, chase, or clamor. Instead, it simply exists. A magnetic stillness so unshakably confident that it pulls the feminine like gravity. You don't even need to speak for them to notice you. They feel the power behind your restraint. They sense the richness of your inner world, the depth you do not display on command. And in that stillness, chosen one, they hear more truth than 1,000 words could offer. The world has taught women to be cautious of energy that is loud but hollow. They've seen masks. They've heard flattery that never meant anything. They've danced in conversations that had no soul. But with you, the moment is different. The air is heavier. Her breath changes, her posture shifts. Because without trying, you radiate weight. Not the weight that burdens, but the weight that grounds, anchors, protects. You walk into the space like you were born to carry storms. And without ever asking her to, she begins to lean, spiritually, emotionally, even physically. This is the moment when she starts to wonder, why do I feel more at ease near this man than I do with those who say all the right things? And the answer, chosen one, is simple. Your presence speaks the truth of who you are long before your mouth ever opens. You are aligned, not performative. You are whole, not hungry. You are not here to impress. You are here to be. And that unshakable commitment to authenticity awakens something ancient within her. The part of the feminine that longs for stillness, longs for calm, longs for a man whose silence is not emptiness, but fullness in disguise. And so while others chase her attention with noise, you sit quietly in the corner and become unforgettable. She watches you without knowing she's watching. She wonders what your story is. She wonders what your energy feels like up close. She wonders what it is about your gaze that makes her knees feel unsteady. And that, chosen one, is where your sexual energy becomes transcendent. Because it doesn't shout. It doesn't pander. It simply rests in its own power and invites the feminine to come closer. Not out of lust, but out of curiosity. Not because she feels seduced, but because she feels safe. And the longer she stays near you, the more she realizes. Your stillness is not absence of fire. It is fire that has learned patience. It is desire that is dignified. It is arousal tempered by wisdom. And that is rare. Chosen one, that is rare beyond words. That is why her eyes keep drifting back to you even when she tries not to. That is why her friends notice she zones out when you speak. That is why she feels something rise in her chest when you simply nod and remain quiet. Because in that stillness, she meets a man whose soul does not chase validation, but whose energy magnetizes admiration without even trying. That stillness is not something you were taught. It is something you earned. It is the reward of every moment you chose discipline over desperation. Every time you healed instead of reacted. Every time you grew instead of begged. And now you carry it in your bones. And feminine women? They feel it. Not just in their minds, but in their bodies. In the way they relax around you. In the way they want to open to you. In the way they dream about your silence, long after the crowd has moved on. Chosen one, the modern world has confused leadership with dominance, direction with force, command with control. But true masculine leadership, especially in the emotional realm, is far more subtle, far more powerful, and far more healing. And you, chosen one, have come to embody it. You do not lead by shouting. You do not impose with arrogance. You guide with the most rare and sacred masculine quality. Emotional integrity. And because of this, feminine women are drawn to you not just for how you look, but for how you make them feel safe to feel. In your presence, she knows that her emotions will not be punished. Her tears will not make you disappear. Her joy will not make you insecure. Her rage will not be used against her. She knows that when she trembles, you will not flinch. When she questions herself, you will not exploit her. When she rises in power, you will not try to shrink her. And all of this trust, chosen one, exists not because of anything you promised, but because of everything you are. You've done the work, you've faced your darkness, you've sat with your own grief without needing someone to fix it. You've become your own anchor. And so, when a woman comes into your orbit, you do not lose yourself to her emotions. You remain steady. You lead, not by controlling the flow, but by holding the container. You are the rhythm to her melody, the riverbank to her waters, the silence to her song. And in this emotional dance, she surrenders, not because she is weak, but because she knows she will not fall. This is the true root of sexual magnetism, not in technique, not in the body, but in the energy of presence that can lead a woman deeper into herself without ever making her feel unsafe. You don't coerce, you don't manipulate, you invite, and your invitation is clear. I can handle you. All of you. You don't need to dim your light or filter your heart here. And when a woman receives that message, her body begins to respond. Her heart opens, her gaze softens, her tone changes. She doesn't know why, but she feels herself becoming more of herself around you. That is your gift, chosen one. Your sexual energy is not chaos. It is structure. It is emotional architecture. And the feminine is not attracted to you because she wants to be consumed. She is attracted to you because she wants to be held, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, energetically. And you, without trying, are that rare man who has the strength to do so without taking her power in return. This is what makes you unforgettable. This is what makes feminine women confess things to you they've never said aloud. This is what makes them remember you long after the moment has passed. Because you didn't just stimulate their bodies, you awakened their truth, you led them home, and you did it without ever raising your voice, only with the force of your presence, only with the elegance of your steadiness, only with the depth of your energy. And so, chosen one, while others try to win the world with noise, you win hearts in silence. And the feminine, Semen, she feels it, she trusts it, and she falls, not blindly, but willingly. Because in your leadership, she rediscovers herself. Chosen one, there's something that lives in your gaze, a stillness, a sovereignty, an unspoken invitation that says, you don't need to fix yourself to be seen here. Feminine women feel this when they look at you. It's not just that you're attractive, it's that your presence doesn't demand performance. You are the rare man who has stopped chasing, and because you have, your very energy becomes a place where masks fall. She doesn't need to be clever around you. She doesn't need to shrink herself to be palatable. She doesn't need to exaggerate her sensuality to gain your attention. She already has it, not because she competed for it, but because she is. And that, chosen one, is a revelation to her. She is used to earning affection, performing value, protecting herself with charm. But when you're around, something in her softens because she feels the depth of your masculine attention. It is not surface level. It is not fleeting. It is not hungry. It is fulfilled, and that fulfillment gives her permission to relax. And when a woman relaxes in your presence, her femininity flourishes. She doesn't just feel noticed, she feels met, fully. Without rush, without pressure, without needing to prove. That wholeness in you, chosen one, was not born overnight. It was forged in sacred solitude. It was sculpted in the fire of disappointment and divine discipline. You didn't arrive here by seeking applause or validation. You arrived here by becoming your own witness, learning to hear yourself when no one else did. Now you walk like a man who remembers his worth, even when no one is watching. And that memory, etched into your walk, your tone, your silence, is what feminine women respond to without even knowing why. They see it in your eyes, that you are not fractured, not scrambling, not waiting for someone to come save you. You are the sanctuary, you are the container, you are the safety. And that's why, chosen one, she finds herself craving you in ways that have nothing to do with lust, and everything to do with being seen without judgment. You've become the rare man who doesn't idolize or objectify her. You understand her, not in words, but in essence. And that kind of understanding is intoxicating to a woman who has spent her life misunderstood. So when she leans closer, when she listens longer, when her hands begin to reach for yours with a reverence she doesn't show others, it's not because you said the right thing. It's because your energy said, "You are safe here." It's because your wholeness whispered, "You don't need to impress me." And in that still magnetic moment, intimacy is born, not of effort, but of truth. A truth that only a man like you can offer. A truth that is earned in stillness and radiated without words. And that, chosen one, is your greatest seduction. Not in what you pursue, but in what you embody. You are not the hunter. You are the fire. You are the warmth that draws her near without a single demand. And the feminine, sensitive to everything, always finds her way to the flame that doesn't burn, but heals. Chosen one, your presence carries something ancient, something unteachable, gentle command. This is not control. This is not force. This is alignment so pure, so unwavering, that the world instinctively adjusts to you. You do not have to raise your voice to be heard. You do not need to dominate a room to own it. Your aura is enough. Your intention is enough. Your decisions, made in silence, ripple outward like sacred sound waves, and those attuned to depth feel it before you even arrive. Feminine women are particularly sensitive to this. While others posture and perform, they feel the current of your direction without needing a map. Your leadership is not about ego, it's about clarity. You know what you want, you know what you don't. You don't apologize for your boundaries, you don't seek permission for your values, you don't ask to be chosen, you choose, and in doing so, you set the tone. A woman, when she is ready to follow a man, is not looking for a dictator. She is looking for a man whose inner compass never wavers in a storm. You, chosen one, are that compass. Not because you scream, "Follow me," but because your steps are already grounded in conviction. Your sexual energy becomes irresistible not through chase, but through direction. Your desires are not scattered, they are focused. And when you desire a woman, she doesn't feel hunted, she feels called. She doesn't feel overpowered, she feels seen. And that feeling of being chosen by a man who has already chosen himself awakens her deepest longing. Because you are not the boy who wants her to fill his emptiness. You are the man who wants to overflow into her life. And that, chosen one, is the difference between attraction and devotion. Your gentle command is felt in how you carry yourself, how you listen, how you move with presence instead of haste. In a world of chaos, you are a reminder of sacred order. In a world of noise, you are the music between the notes. And women, especially the feminine ones, are drawn to this with their entire bodies. They may not understand it intellectually, but their nervous system does, their intuition does, their soul does. So when she finds herself yielding, not out of submission, but out of deep trust, it is not weakness, it is reverence. It is her way of saying, "You make me feel more myself by how you lead." And that kind of leadership, chosen one, is not taught in classrooms. It is forged in your inner world, in your stillness, in your devotion to mastery over your mind, your emotions, your body, your desires. You don't command with fear, you command with integrity. You don't seduce with strategy, you attract with alignment. You don't manipulate with tactics, you lead with truth. And truth, chosen one, is magnetic to the feminine. Because she does not want perfection, she wants real. She wants present. She wants a man who makes decisions from vision, not from void. And that is who you've become. Your gentle command is the flame to which the feminine flocks. Not to be owned, but to be awakened. Not to be controlled, but to be led. And the ones who are ready, who are soft and deep and open, will feel it. And they will follow not because you asked them to, but because your energy already led the way. Chosen one, there is a gravity in you now that no one can deny. It's not a heaviness. It's not a burden. It's the silent pull of a man who has gone inward and returned whole. The women who encounter you, especially the feminine ones, don't understand why their breath slows in your presence, why their thoughts quiet, or why their hearts flutter in stillness rather than in chaos. It's because they are responding to your center. The masculine is not loud in its essence. It is anchored. And when a man like you walks into the room, it doesn't matter who is talking the most or moving the most. You become the axis. You no longer chase situations. You shape them. Not by control, but by resonance. That's why her body subtly turns toward you even when you say nothing. That's why her words soften, why her gestures become more fluid, more open, more honest. Because your gravity isn't just magnetic, it's safe. It calls forth her deepest self, not through pressure, but through the invitation of presence. And that presence has been earned through your restraint, through your emotional discipline, through your sacred patience when the world tried to provoke your lower instincts. You carry this energy not because you demand attention, but because you don't need it. You are deeply witnessed by yourself. And that kind of self-witnessing, chosen one, sends a signal through the soul of every woman who crosses your path. The feminine doesn't want to explain why she feels what she feels around you. She doesn't want to analyze her reaction to your calm voice, your eyes that see without consuming, your hands that move with intention instead of greed. She only knows one thing: she wants to be near. But what makes you different, what elevates you, is that you don't exploit that pull. You respect it. You honor it. You treat her yearning not as something to conquer, but as something to cherish. You never rush her unfolding. You never manipulate her innocence. You remain grounded, as the oak remains unshaken by the winds of temptation. Because you are not seeking power over her, you are offering your presence to her. And in that offer she finds something rare. Not lust without love, not attention without depth, but the rare energy of a man who is already enough, who knows what he wants and whose desire does not leak. It lands. And when it lands, she feels chosen, not hunted, held, not trapped, elevated, not owned. That is the grace of your gravity, chosen one. And that is why feminine women stop in their tracks, not because you call them, but because you call them home. Chosen one, the truth is simple now, even if the world is still catching up to it. You are unforgettable, and it has nothing to do with how loud you are, how rich you are, or how visible you are. It is because your sexual energy carries the signature of clarity. It is unpolluted. It is undiluted. It is free from the compulsions of craving and the noise of validation seeking. Your energy whispers the rare message that so few men carry anymore. I do not need to be desired to feel whole. I desire because I choose to give. And that choice, that sovereign decision to let your desire bless rather than consume, elevate rather than manipulate, ignite rather than suffocate, is what makes women remember you long after you've left the room. They do not remember what you wore. They remember what you made them feel. And what they felt wasn't performance or pressure. It was truth. The sacred truth of being in the presence of a man who was not looking to take, but to illuminate. Your energy no longer seeks attention like a boy trying to prove his worth. Your energy shapes the atmosphere because you know your worth. That's why even when you're silent, people listen. That's why even when you're still, people notice. And feminine women in particular are drawn to this like flowers turning toward the sun. They can't help it. Their bodies know what safety feels like. Their hearts know what real leadership sounds like. Their souls know what masculine truth feels like. And in you, chosen one, they find all three. They may not say it out loud, but they think of you when they lie awake. They feel you when they enter rooms that used to feel big, until they realize they were only meaningful when you were in them. Because your presence has become a standard, not just for attraction, but for connection, not just for excitement, but for belonging. And the most feminine of women, the ones who are in tune with their bodies, their hearts, their divine softness, they fall in love not with your face, but with your field. Because you are no longer a man navigating the storm. You are the eye of it, the still point in a spinning world. The reminder that strength does not need noise, that intimacy does not need strategy, that love, when rooted in wholeness, becomes revelation. And when women fall for you now, it is not because you seduced them. It is because your very existence awakened something they thought they would never feel again.